Crack open a wooden beam that termites have been feeding on, and the outside might still look perfectly normal. But inside, thousands of pale little insects are quietly eating the skeleton of your home. One bite at a time, they eat beams, furniture, crops. They can even tunnel into a living tree and hollow it out from the inside. So let's give humanity exactly what it wants. At midnight tonight, every termite on Earth disappears. No more infestations, no more repair bills, no more tiny demolition crews working the night shift inside your walls. On paper, it sounds like a complete victory. The planet disagrees, because the same ability that makes termites so destructive is also helping soil hold water, forests recycle nutrients, crops survive drought, and entire food webs stay alive. Remove termites, and you do not just save a few wooden beams, you pull one of the hidden support beams out of the planet itself. So how did one of humanity's most hated pests become something the world cannot afford to lose? And what would actually happen if every termite vanished overnight? Ironically, the reason termites become indispensable is the exact same trait that makes people want them gone: their appetite. Termites do not need better public relations. They earned their reputation the hard way. They are pale, soft-bodied, and usually hidden in dark cavities by the thousands. When mating season arrives, they swarm. Then they drop their wings, sometimes leaving the ground covered in them. But the truly frightening thing about termites is not how they look. It is how quietly they work. They do not kick down the door. They slip through tiny cracks in the foundation, enter the walls, and start eating through the load-bearing beams layer by layer. No smoke, no alarm, no dramatic villain music. By the time you notice the damage, the beam may be little more than a paper-thin shell. One firm step, and your foot could go straight through it. And their appetite does not stop at your house. In many parts of the world, termites also attack crops. They gnaw at the roots of young plants. They damage seedlings, and they can tunnel into healthy trees, causing them to decay slowly from the center outward. From a human point of view, the solution seems obvious. Erase termites, and we protect two things at once: our homes and our food. On paper, the trade seems obvious. The problem is that ecosystems rarely keep the same accounting books that humans do, because these same insects, destructive, unwanted, and very bad for property values, are also among the first workers behind the food on our tables. And most of that work happens where we never see it: underground. To understand what termites have to do with your dinner, you have to look beneath your feet. Across drylands and agricultural regions, termites are constantly digging, not random little holes, entire tunnel systems, complex, interconnected, and reaching deep into the earth. In dry regions, those tunnels become something incredibly valuable: a natural water capture network. When heavy rain hits hard, sun-baked soil, much of that water would normally rush across the surface. It would carry fertile topsoil away with it. But termite tunnels give the water somewhere else to go. Down. Rain flows into the channels, seeps deeper into the ground, and stays available in the soil for longer. Imagine millions of tiny underground pipes built without engineers, electricity, or maintenance crews, and the effect can be enormous. Across degraded tropical and subtropical drylands, termite tunneling and mound building can increase the soil's ability to absorb water and circulate air several-fold. Digging is only the beginning. They also drag dry grass, fallen leaves, and dead wood below the surface. Then they begin breaking it down. That puts organic matter back into soil that may be compacted, depleted, and almost lifeless. Slowly, hard ground becomes living soil again, soil capable of supporting crops such as wheat, sorghum, and corn. Without these underground networks, large areas of farmland would harden much faster during drought. Water would run off, topsoil would disappear, and food-producing regions that support hundreds of millions of people could face widespread crop losses. So, yes, termites can damage crops, but on a much larger scale, they also help create the soil those crops depend on. That is the trade-off people rarely notice. The pest in one field may be part of the reason the wider landscape can remain productive at all. And their talent for breaking down tough plant fibers does not stop at farmland. It is also helping to grow the timber for houses we have not built yet. Forests are among the largest carbon stores on Earth. They also provide timber, paper, and industrial fiber. But forests have a problem. They cannot clean their own floors. When a tree falls, it does not simply disappear. Its wood is packed with cellulose and lignin, tough materials that most organisms cannot digest efficiently. Without termites, dead trees and fallen branches would build up far more quickly. They would crowd out young seedlings. They would add fuel to forest fires, and they would keep valuable nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium trapped inside dead wood. Termites unlock those nutrients. Every bite starts a chain reaction. The termites shred the wood. Microbes finish what they started. Eventually, yesterday's tree becomes tomorrow's soil. And from that soil, new trees grow. In other words, termites do not just eat yesterday's forest, they help build tomorrow's. Much of the timber growing in managed forests today benefits from nutrients that once belonged to an earlier generation of trees. trees that decomposers, including termites, broke down and returned to the earth. This cycle has been running quietly for tens of millions of years. No salary, no weekends, and to be fair, absolutely no respect for property boundaries. But once you understand that cycle, the idea of wiping out termites starts to look very different. Because getting rid of them would not simply remove a pest, it would shut down part of the planet's recycling system. And the bill would not stay in the forest. It would eventually reach us. Now imagine it actually happens. Every termite on Earth vanishes overnight. For a few weeks, it feels like humanity has solved one of its oldest household problems. Homes are safe from termite damage. Furniture is no longer on the menu. Fruit trees and young crops lose one of their natural enemies. For a while, it looks like humanity has won. The first cracks do not appear in houses. They appear underground. The trouble begins where water is already scarce. The underground water networks lose their maintenance crews. As tunnels close and the soil compacts, rain has fewer paths into the ground. More water rushes across the surface, more topsoil washes away, and some already fragile farming regions begin moving closer to desert. The forests do not escape the damage either. Dead wood breaks down far more slowly. Nutrients stay locked inside fallen trees. Seedlings face more competition for space. Forest regeneration slows. Trees take longer to mature. Timber takes longer to replace, and the cost of wood and paper begins to rise. Yet the ecological debt is only beginning to accumulate. Because termites are not just recyclers, they are also food. In many terrestrial ecosystems, they are one of the most abundant sources of animal protein. Birds eat them, amphibians eat them, reptiles and small mammals eat them. Remove termites, and all of those animals lose a major part of their food supply. So two essential systems begin failing at the same time. In the plant world, the cycle that turns dead trees into living soil slows down. In the animal world, a major stream of protein at the base of the food web disappears. Could something else take over? Could fungi, bacteria, or wood-eating beetles simply replace termites? They could do part of the job, but not all of it, and not everywhere. In warm, dry regions, fungi become far less efficient when moisture is limited. Without termites, natural decomposition in some places could take several times longer, perhaps even dozens of times longer under the harshest conditions. Nature's free workforce would stop clocking in, and humans would have to make up the difference. More irrigation to compensate for soil that holds less water. More soil amendments to replace lost organic matter. More forest management projects to clear dead wood and restore damaged land. Higher food costs, higher timber costs, higher taxes. The expense would move through farms, forests, supply chains, and governments until it reached ordinary people. Of course, nobody wants termites living inside their walls. Protecting a home from an infestation makes perfect sense. But there is a huge difference between removing termites from a house and removing them from the earth. The termites inside our walls can destroy the place where we live. The termites outside those walls help maintain the world that makes living possible. Eradicating them might save some homeowners from the repair bill in front of them, but it could replace that bill with a much larger one shared by everyone. A bill paid in soil, in water, in food, in forests, and eventually in survival. So the next time you hear that termites are eating someone's house, do not invite them over. Just remember, the same insect quietly hollowing out a beam beneath someone's house may also be helping forests regrow, soils recover, and harvests survive. That contradiction is frustrating. It is also one of the reasons the natural world keeps working.